Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you in another video. Alright, so Los Angeles Lakers disappointed the heck out of me tonight, man. Y'all follow my channel. It's probably been a good laugh for everybody. Seeing me talk about how good of our interior defense was, and then ultimately see how bad it played tonight. The interior defense was trash, man. It really was. I was wrong. I'll stand on the fact that I believe if the team is utilized properly, we have fantastic interior defense on paper. We saw sequences where we were dominant, blocking shots, contesting interior shots. And I think my mistake was not looking at the interior statistics, but going by the eye test. Eye test was not telling the truth. They were slipping in there, scoring in the paint. They were getting in transition, laying the ball up. So that was a lot of what was going wrong there. And so I think at the half, they probably already had like 36 or 37, maybe even 40 points in the paint. And so I was sitting there just going by the eye test, saying how fantastic we were doing. Because I had seen AD block 3 shots and seen Vanderbilt get block shots. And I saw the success that we were having. It was in the half court. It had nothing to do with all them turnovers we were allowing them to have. And so, you couple that with the plays that, Desmond Bain was able to get that I saw, and probably several others that they were getting that I just probably didn't take it into account. And you could clearly see where they were very dominant all night long in the paint. And you got to give credit to the second, how you phrase it. I don't know if they're the second best team in the Western Conference, but they have the second best overall record in the Western Conference as of right now. So you got to give them their credit. I think the thing about the Memphis Grizzlies, though, I really do believe this, is they should not really feel all that great about this win at all. We turned the ball over a million times and still was within 3. We didn't have D'Angelo Russell or LeBron James in the first game that this has been the case, which means we absolutely had no continuity. And given our circumstances, we're a team that leaned on different players than we even have on this roster right now. Patrick Beverly and Russell Westbrook, there were games where they got 40 minutes a game leading up through the season. So and the guys we had on the floor just haven't had enough time together, especially not without Bron. And so when you look at all that, I don't know why Memphis would be over the moon as it pertains to this particular basketball game. They shot poorly, and if it weren't for us just simply not utilizing our roster correctly, by giving ourselves any sort of weak side help whatsoever throughout the majority of the third quarter when Ja was cooking, then they probably would have lost. If D'Angelo Russell would have been out there and had a pretty solid game, it might have made the difference in the score. And you consider we lost by 11. So these are the type of things that I look at and I say it would have been great if we just could have got a little more out of Troy Brown, if we could have just played a little better defense in general, both interior and perimeter. I mean, I just didn't think we gave it the right intensity for what it is we were dealing with. I know we lost opportunity to have Brown out there, and I know D'Angelo wasn't out there, but we got a heck of a lot of talent on this roster. We got a heck of a lot of what we keep a team that's intent on scoring in the paint from doing so as successfully as they did. And I'm not saying that I don't respect Ja's ability. He can do things that most cannot. But at the end of the day, he's a guard. He's a guard driving at your paint. You got to give yourself the best opportunity to assure that rim is protected. You just have to. And also, you have to do yourself the best opportunity to assure that you're guarding that player properly. Did we put the best players we had on Ja Morant? Did we double team him or adjust our defense to ensure that he had the most difficulty? As it became clear that he was getting to our paint and scoring with ease. I mean, we didn't adjust at all. We just sat there and watched them destroy us. This is something that we've talked about on this channel. And I don't know how else to view it but to just continue to bring up the nonsense that I see, which is there are defenses in this league, and it ain't just ours, that appear to more or less roll out the red carpet for superstar talent to be showcased and have superstar numbers. And when you see guys go for super numbers, one has to wonder if there's something to study about the defenses that they face. Because the difficulty on the defense that Ja Morant faced tonight in regards to the third quarter was probably a 4 out of 10. Let's just say 4 out of 10. We could have gave him a 10 if we would have given ourselves a lot more size. He would have had so many more difficult angles from which he had to have been successful in order to attack us. He couldn't have came straight at us with Mo Bambas, Vanderbilt, AD, and Wenyen Gabriel down there in some rotation within that third quarter. Obviously not all at the same time, but 2 for 2. You swap them out and you leave yourself with a significantly difficult obstacle for him to shoot over. Now, if he gets those shots off, cool. If you happen to foul him, what do you care? Why do you care if you foul him? Just foul him. Send him to the line, make him shoot free throws. But don't allow him to continue to get layups. It's just... It just becomes a situation where you have to wonder what it is that you're actually looking at. Because the NBA wants to showcase certain talent. And when you see it enough times, it's just like, are we doing this on purpose? And to what end? And is it just incompetence? Maybe people are just accidentally being, They just don't know any better, and so I'm just to assume. But all season long, we've been talking about this. And I just don't know how else to look at it, man. I just feel like we're rolling out the red carpet for certain talent. Tonight it was Ja. Christmas Day it was Luka. If your defense does not give you the best chance to succeed, but if anything, it just seems like it becomes what the other team's best player needs to be his best self. It's like, well, damn, is that what we're trying to do or what? Like, honestly, is that the NBA's overall agenda, to just showcase their talent? And it's just WWE now, it's all scripted? Because I don't know how else to view this. You know what I mean? It's like, when you know you have to win. When you know you have to win. You know what I'm saying? And you see certain things being done that don't give you the best opportunity to win, you're going to come to whatever conclusions you find. And that's ultimately where we're at. So I've said this more than once. This is probably the 4th time I've made a video like this after a game, where I'm just like, I don't believe that we really just did that. You know what I mean? Like, my God, man. And so, and it's like, okay, maybe I'm misevaluating Mo Bamba. Maybe Mo Bamba's 3 or 4 tiers lower than what I think and should be benched this way. Okay. But on a night where you're getting ate up in the paint, this is the night you play Damian Jones. This is the night you play that level of player. And so it's like, even if I thought he was the worst center we had, you still need him on this particular night, under these particular pretenses, when you must win every basketball game you're in. I just know we didn't give ourselves our best opportunity. And so, I don't know how Laker Nation feels about that. I don't know how Jeannie Buss feels about that. I watch this league and I see this kind of stuff go on. I look at our game against Dallas and feel kind of the same way. They put Luka Doncic on Anthony Davis, single coverage. The heck you think gonna happen? Thanks. At some point in time, it's like, oh man, am I seeing this all over the league? Or do I have to pretend I don't? Is that what it is? Do I have to pretend I don't see this? It's frustrating, man. It's frustrating. So I don't know, man. I'm just watching the team, and I can continue to suggest what makes sense, and then I look around at my fellow Laker fans, and they all are saying similar things, and it's like we all know what we need to do, and we know that there are going to be people who sell us the excuse for why it shouldn't be done. Oh, Mo's not really that good. Yeah, well, even if he ain't, it's kind of what I'm saying here. But like, I think he is that good. I think Winyon's that good. I think Lonnie's that good. I think we've known they've been that good all season. I think we've pretended like they're not that good for reasons that don't really add up to me. And I've been telling us that all year too. And it is what it is. And I think half the dudes in our G League were better than half the dudes we had half of the season that we leaned on. I don't think we had to suck as bad as we did. I really don't. Some of them dudes that we traded, I'm happy that we played them enough to where someone would want to trade for them. A guy like Patrick Beverly, I'm glad we were able to play his value up. Russell Westbrook, that was fantastic. We did that, but I don't think we need to lean on them as much to do so. In fact, I think if we would have played them less, the value might have been even higher. So these type of things are like, I'm glad we've patched up some of the holes. I'm glad we made a really good trade, or several good trades that helped us feel great about our roster. But how many of these guys are we keeping? Our team is really, really deep right now. But some of these dudes are, Pat, I'll say it like this. Patrick Beverly told the world that he demanded a trade from the Lakers because he didn't like what was going on here. Either you can choose to believe it or not, but that's what he's going around telling the world. Thomas Bryant, same thing. That's two guys who demanded off of this team this season. Now, I'm telling you guys, all season long, I've been frustrated with the direction of the team because I thought we were doing things the wrong way. Now, we've done things the right way in regards to getting the roster here, but I still felt like, it was all about the wrong stuff. Trying to get LeBron James to Kareem, trying to ultimately, have it be the season be about that. And it's just like this season, it's just very difficult to look at a guy, Patrick Beverly, who's been the focal point and gotten all the minutes, essentially say that it was his decision to leave the team. And my thing is, if he followed my channel, he would see the fruit in needing to get off of this roster for the same reason, because he was not being utilized properly, and it was to the detriment of the team itself. And it was important that our franchise traded him, not because he wasn't a good piece, but because we were overusing him. And it's one of those situations where it's like, now that this news comes out, he's talking about that he demanded a trade. If it's cap, it's cap. You know what I mean? One way or another. Either the report could have been cap or he could be cap, or whatever it is. It could be a lie. But if we run with the tea leaf that is true, that is telling. It is telling. And I'm telling you, I don't like how we've handled this season as it pertains to how we've pretended to be worse than we are all season long is essentially what I'm saying to you guys. I don't like it. I don't like how we've made games harder than they had to be, leaning on players we had no business leaning on, saying that we were having scheduled losses all season long. Some of those scheduled losses were against teams we had already beaten, short-handed, mind you. And in situations like the Dallas game I told you about on Christmas, where I know we didn't strategize properly, tonight where I know we didn't strategize properly, I'm not going to trip on all the games that we lost that were embarrassing, because those were floor losses. A lot of those was just guys not making good decisions on the floor, players' problems. But some of the stuff is like, nah, man, what are we doing? What are we doing, LA? What is the NBA on right now as a whole? If teams are helping each other showcase each other's superstars to the detriment of actual winning. That culture cannot exist, everybody. You know why? Because we pay for this product. So we can't co-sign this. You know what I'm saying? That's not something we can co-sign if we're to believe that we're rooting for wins and losses. You know, that's not something that they can tell us. That's not something we can all agree upon, everybody. No, it doesn't work that way. There's something really wrong with that, and because I know there's something really wrong with that, I don't know how else to cover it than just say, this is what I see. And I look at the culture that we're in. Everybody's enjoying making money off the sports betting. It's like, all right, y'all all enjoy sports betting, but this is why the sport is like this. This is why. I've said it 700 times in this camera, and I'll say it now. It's bad. It's bad because you're going to force your way to assurances, and that takes away the overall ability to have the game be a coin flip. The game is a game of chance. It's reactionary. You know what I mean? And when you have to assure certain things, the only way to do so is by corrupting it, and that's always what we talk about here. You just have to corrupt it. You have to screw it up. You have to make sure that the defense is absolutely soft so that the player can get 71 points. You know what I'm saying? And then we get to say he's good as Kobe. No, Kobe wasn't going up against nothing like that. Kobe didn't have... No. Wilt wasn't dealing... No. No, this is so that somebody can make a whole lot of money with a sports bet. Or somebody can sway the wager a certain way. It's just trash, y'all. And the league should not be swayed by big money issues. It should not. It's not going to age well. I tell y'all a million times it ain't going to age well. Money cannot be king of what it is that y'all doing if competition is being weighed against time. It's not going to age well. Look at greed all through history. It doesn't age well. Yeah, you cash out, but you just water down the overall era that you're in, not the sport itself. Because people gonna keep on playing the sport, and then they gonna look at your era and say, "Oh, they cashed out." Everybody discredited, and this is what I know. History will tell you what I'm telling you is true, and the NBA is headed down a very dark path to cash out for this year, so that a couple people who are alive right now can get really, really rich doing what they do. And I'm telling you, it doesn't work. It doesn't work any other path in life, and it ain't gonna work in this here sport. It doesn't work. You got to keep the integrity of what you're doing if you want it to last. And it can't be about a quick money grab on a random dot on the calendar. I'm sorry, it can't be that short-sighted. It can't. Just because the world is very short-sighted does not mean that the overall conglomerate of what is lasting, these various shields, they can't be caught up in the instant grits 2023. Those will be the corporations that don't make it past this era. They won't last past it. That will be it. I don't know what else to say, man. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know. Maybe it works out. Maybe money's key. But at the end of the day, I don't like where this is headed for the professional sport. I don't like it. I don't like it because I think that if it works, you're just going to see it all over the world where different leagues are going to do the same thing. And it's just going to water down everybody's version of the sport. That's what the worst case scenario of this nonsense is. You know what I mean? So I don't know. The return to integrity in sports is important, and that's what we speak for. And I hope that through all that we're doing, that these fantastic athletes can continue to love the game that they're playing. You know what I mean? That's what I hope. Because it's not like the athletes are heading the other direction. They're getting better and better and better. So showcasing them is going to be something that you want to do. But playing the sport of basketball, it's one of the best ways to do it. But I can totally see something else popping up, and those guys are going to go get a different bag somewhere else. The NBA is booming, and they're loving what they're doing, but it ain't the only sport to play. So there are a lot of people who think the NBA should get its act together. Some people believe for different reasons, different things. Some people think they need to do more of what they're doing, or otherwise they're not doing enough. So whatever opinions may be, I think at the end of the day, they do need to make some changes from here. I do think that. I'm not. I'm not unhappy at what I'm seeing as far as the eye test. It's fun to watch certain games, particularly ones my team is not involved in, so that it's when we do not see the perfect call or what have you, it's not so much your emotions lying on it. It can be fun to watch. The Kings and the Clippers go for 175 and 176 points. The guys are hitting the shots, so you know that they're showcasing real talent. Because at the end of the day, they're hitting these shots. But there has to be a better way than to take defense out of the equation. And so that's what it comes down to me. I just don't like how the game's officiated. I saw some calls tonight that made it very difficult to guard Ja Morant. That's one of the reasons why it kind of went left for our team, in my opinion. I just felt like a couple of touch fouls kind of demoralized the team. A couple early touch fouls. Ja Morant bump off somebody and they call the foul. He drives at the rim and just a synchronized whistle just pops off. It's like, did it even matter if anybody was there? You guys wouldn't call a whistle for him regardless, right? You just wait until he got to a certain point and then the whistle blows. It's like at some point in time you just got to say, yo, this is nonsense. We know it's nonsense. And at some point in time, we want it to stop. So that's what it comes down to, man. Stop the touch fouls. Consistency amongst the officiating. Hand checking would be dope. Bring that back. Make it so that it's much more difficult to move around out there. And we'll see who's really talented. You know what I mean? We'll really see who has it. Adjust the carrying rules too. Adjust that. If a guy can take 3 steps behind the 3-point line and launch a 3-point shot and not be a travel, he should be able to move his hands a little bit, ever so slightly, as he's hesitating past a dude. Bring back the ability to juke a dude out of his shoes and speed past him. That's what I'm saying. Literally. Because if you can't stay down there as dudes are able to use athleticism to get past you, then you ain't good enough to be in the league. Stop letting these stiffs stay in the league by making it difficult for the guys like Iverson to juke past them. Bring back the ability to do so and then allow hand checking to stop them. That's how it needs to be done, just like the 80s. But it won't be like the 80s because you're still going to call technicals. So ain't nobody going to be hitting people hard and all that stuff, knocking people out the sky. It's not going to happen. It's just going to make it much more difficult for guys who can't dribble to get around. You know what I'm saying? Stop making it easy on these people. That's what I got to say. And if they can still go for 71 and 80 and all that, cool. And it'll mean more because they'll be doing it in a way that the old school guys can and their numbers can make sense in regards to, in comparison to. And they'll be even more credible because they'll be going up against way more talented dudes. So they can really actually be better than 80s dudes, 70s dudes, and 60s dudes. Instead of it being kind of hypothetical. Now, it won't be hypothetical because the rules will be the same and it'll be proven. That's what it's all about. That's where the real respect is at. I'm telling you. I know what I'm talking about. When it comes to this, maybe not as it pertains to what I thought was going to happen in that second half when we were defending that paint. But then again, there was a lot of stuff that fell into place for Ja and them. So, I don't know, man. Just make sure they got to send Darvin his car at the end of the season for his services, Ja. Make sure you get his car. It's ridiculous, man. I don't know what we're doing. I really don't. I'm rooting for it. I'm happy the roster looks better. At least it's fun to watch. Next season, I'll be excited because this roster's coming back. But I honestly don't know where this is headed. Especially after watching that All-Star game. That was just, that showed us everything we need to know about where their priorities are. As a league. When you watch that display, they actually showed us exactly how much money it matters. When we saw that All-Star game where people were so delicate with each other, they didn't want to touch each other. It's like, oh man, get out of here with this. How about we just say the game was played and not play it? Literally. These guys were all-stars, and then just give them the weekend to have a award ceremony or something. Like, seriously. Let them do a ball or something. Call it an all-star weekend. Do a couple of events. Dunk contest, 3-point shootout. But do not play the all-star game because it's not good for their health. Nobody wants to play it. They ain't going to play no defense. What's the point of watching that garbage? Nobody wants to see that. They don't even want to play it. And they could still be credited as all-stars. Because that's what it's about. It's about earning your way there, not necessarily playing the damn game. So, I mean, that's what it should be. Both NFL and the NBA. I don't know why the NFL hasn't done it. That's all it's about. He's a Pro Bowler. Okay, hypothetical. He doesn't have to play no stupid game. So, it is what it is. I think the NBA needs to evolve and just kind of think along those lines. Because if they can't make the product worth watching, why are we watching it? You might as well give dudes a controller and let them play as themselves in 2K. Watch that as an all-star game. You feel me? Like, seriously. I mean, if it's that bad. Like, if it's going to be this bad. So, these are the type of things I'm talking about, man. Money can't be king. It has to be about competitiveness. If it's a return to competitiveness, then guys will adjust. We think we're going to see more injuries? I don't think so. Guys' bodies will adjust to the physicality. If they were football players, they would just adjust to the physicality. Now, granted, not everybody's meant for physicality, but they will be, as the game evolves and they understand, they will be more physical. You understand what I'm saying? It's like you just prepare yourself for what it is you are going to be facing. So I think the NBA needs to become more physical, since they have certain games where they don't want to call anything any damn way. Letting people get hit in the head and all kinds of stuff to end games. Just make it all make sense. So that's my request as a fan, man. I don't think it's too difficult to do that. You're still going to make good money. You can still have people betting on the games, but just stop making it so damn obvious that it's about inflated scoring. Don't make it about inflated scoring. Make it about the defensive style. I don't know. But whatever the case may be, this has to stop. That's for sure. Because it's affecting what we're seeing on the floor. And I want to see the return to defensive schemes. If not the return to defense on the court, at least give us our centers back. Okay? I get it. We want to see Ja go for 71. But I also want to see Mo Bamba get like 4 blocks. So, can we have our centers back? You want to phase the big man out of the game because he don't allow your John Morants and your Steph Currys to get to the rim. I know what you're doing. Stop it. Stop it. That's my thing. Stop that nonsense. So, that's what I have to say. That is exactly what I have to say, man. Mo Bamba's a lot better player than the NBA is trying to phase him out of. They want to phase the big man out. Even if he can shoot the 3, they don't want him on the floor. No, he can't guard the perimeter. He don't need to guard the perimeter. He really don't. Because they're not going to shoot the perimeter shot efficiently enough to take away the fact that he's going to be in the paint, making them foul him on both sides of the floor. And these are the things I keep telling people. You're going to weigh that 3-point shooting against the foul call. Against the foul call. That's why, and no one ever wants to try that in this era because it's all about the 3-point shot. And I will admit, if you don't guard the perimeter, you're going to lose. But it comes down to the paint has been neglected and disrespected in this era, as if 3 always means more than 2 in this game, when of course in reality it does. But as it pertains to the amount of shots that are actually going to fall versus what it is you can do in the paint, no, they have not met the efficiency. It doesn't make sense yet. You're going to miss more shots outside. So for me, it's like, look, give me somebody who's going to make those shooters foulers. Get them in foul trouble and they can't hit shots because they're sitting down. Coach going to have to make a decision. Are they in foul trouble? Yes. Okay, you want to play them in foul trouble? Cool. That is not what you want to do. You're going to sit those shooters down and you're going to test those other guys. And when those other guys get on the floor, if they ain't no good, boom, score go up, you going to win. So those 3-point shooters, they better be shooting hot. And I'm telling you, one of the quintessential shooters in this league is on our team right now. One day he goes for 7 3-point shots, 7 out of 12. Next day he goes 1 for 8. Some days them shooters just ain't gonna have it. I don't care how great they are. And when that day comes around, that's the day the team that has the paint presence and all that stuff gets the win. Ask Dallas. That's exactly how we won that game. So for me, it's like, okay, I still believe that inside-out basketball works if you respect perimeter defense. Your offense can attack that way, still get all the threes you want, because we used to get all the threes we wanted. Derek Fisher hit just as many threes as we needed him to hit in this era. We would have still won. The Kobe Shaq teams and all of those guys with Derek Fisher, we would have still won. We hit enough threes back then to keep up with these guys. It wasn't about the volume, it was about the makes. We made them. We would make like 9, 10, 11 threes. That's all we needed because we would kill you in the paint. and you wouldn't be able to stop it. It's that kind of thing. You think you'd be able to stop it until you have to try to play defense against us, and you're fouling us. It's just a style that isn't utilized because everybody's worried about space in the floor. Oh my God, I gotta space. I gotta get out there. Yeah, you gotta get out there, but they gotta also do something too. And what that something is gonna be is not foul you, and you're not gonna allow for that not to happen by continuing to make the game physical and keeping it close and keeping it murky. And that, I'm telling you, it will disturb these 3-point shooters. They're not gonna have their legs because they're gonna be doing too much physicality. You run them off of all different types of picks and different things if you're doing things properly. And you can find yourself in a situation where you're beating these shooting teams with an inside-out, old-school style game. You just got to have enough of a fast-footed big man who understands the respect of perimeter defense. And we can't be afraid to let these centers try to do that. If they're too slow, they're just too slow. But there are some of them who just need to be able to do it more often so they can get quick enough to do it. It's like we're afraid to allow people to get to a point where they're good enough at something. Oh, he ran out there one time too slow. That's going to get us killed every time. No, you got to keep on running that drill so they can get in that mindset. They will create the space necessary to assure that they're close enough when they start realizing what they need to do enough times. These are the type of things I know this. But coaches are afraid to do it because they're going to ultimately see no path to success. And it's like, there is no path to success if you don't practice whatever it is you're doing. But I'm telling you, if you keep doing stuff over and over again the same way, you play right into the hands of those who are doing it in the way that you're doing it. You got to do something different if you're going to change the game itself. And so these are things I think about when I watch a game of basketball. And I see us forego opportunities at simple rebounding and then second chance points and shot blocking and stuff like that make your game so much easier. And it's because of some other mantra or some other formula or philosophy rather about scoring or some stupid crap that ain't gonna lead to no success. No success, but because it's from this modern era that we shoot, so it's just kind of like what's what it's about. We just gotta have these little small guys on it because we shoot the ball. It's like stupid crap that isn't changing the game, but is ultimately gonna make sure you lose to those who are doing it that way. That ain't gonna be me. I'm thinking around that. I'm definitely thinking around that, and I'm trying to figure out unorthodox ways of attacking that and being successful doing so. And what I'm telling you is, it's the same stuff we've been running for years. The same stuff that won championships back then is the same stuff that will win championships now. It's just people are afraid to use it. It'll work. So it is what it is, man. People say, no, it's not going to work. This is the different era where you space yourself out. No. I'm telling you, people are just afraid to try it. That's all it is. At the end of the day, you're going to draw more fouls than anybody else. You're going to draw fouls. That's exactly what's going to happen. So anyway, that's what I got to say, man. Frustrated. Tired of losing when you can't afford to lose. Definitely tired of losing when I know my team's good enough to win. That's a whole different type of tired right there. When you know you suck, you're just like, man, this team's trash. We got to make changes. When the changes have already been made and you still suck. I know why that is. And it's like, okay, we're missing some people. That always gives us an excuse. We're missing people. Got it. But I don't know if we would have put them people down there that they would have helped us with what we needed. D'Angelo Russell and LeBron James would not have solved this problem tonight. We still lost the game. And that's what I want people to understand. We would have still lost this game because we wouldn't have had no rim protection. Ja Morant would have still killed us in that third quarter just the same. It would have been the same problem. You remove LeBron James, you would have probably, if you would remove Rui Hachimura, you put LeBron James there, you'd have the same problem. There'd have been no weak side help in that situation. Because I told you in the beginning video, I felt like the way that we are going to win games is going to be on our rim protection. It's not going to be, and on our ability to have length, that type of thing. That's where our best strength is with this roster. It's not anything else. So we go either win or lose with those things. Bron is going to help us with scoring, continuity in various different situations. But at the end of the day, if you ain't getting stops, you ain't getting wins, especially against no Memphis. It's all in that forward rotation, that center rotation. You put the right people on the floor, you rotate them properly. Winion, Gabriel, Vanderbilt, let them do things that they can do. Don't run no plays for Vanderbilt. Trust Winion, Gabriel, because he's probably one of the most efficient rebounders and putback scorers we got. Trust him. Trust Mo Bamba and just light a fire under him. And if he doesn't play well, sit him. That's how you got to treat Mo. It's not one of those situations where you look at Mo and say, I'm never going to play you. Nah. Let us see him not play well just like we've seen other players not play well. Then we can come to the conclusion that he shouldn't play. Just like we do any other situation. That's how it goes with Troy Brown. He ain't played well. Okay, we want to sit him now. But at least let us see that first. So I'm tired, man. I know everybody in LA is tired. And I'm not looking forward to tomorrow's game because we're going to have the same problem. And we're going up against an even taller team. You know what I'm saying? The OKC Thunder has plenty of size, plenty of shooters. And I know D'Lo is expected not to play tomorrow. So we got to be ready for that as well. So, I don't know. By the way, I think that game is tomorrow, but I'm not certain. I believe that game is in OKC tomorrow, but regardless, that will be the next game. It will be OKC in their building, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, from what I understand, is coming back from health and safety protocol or something like that. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, J-Dub's playing absolutely amazing. He looks like he's trying to rival Paolo Banchero for that Rookie of the Year for real at this point, with a late push. I think he had like 27 points, 8 assists tonight. Homeboy reminds me of like a throwback 1975 player. Like, he is a throwback and has all kinds of intangibles. So I know OKC got them another one, and you got to deal with him and Giddey and all these different other guys. And I'm just certain that we got our hands full against this team. I'm certain of it. They lost a game tonight. I forgot who they lost to. I think it was Golden State or something like that. We needed that to happen. We definitely appreciate that. But if we don't handle our business against them, it hurts us bad. I think with the Memphis game, having lost that game, it's like, okay, Memphis is at the second seed. We weren't catching them. That's not, we could, I guess from a standing standpoint, have absorbed tonight's more so than we probably will be able to absorb a loss tomorrow. So we need to get that right. A lot of people lost tonight who we needed to lose, so we're very happy about that. Except for the fact that the Clippers let the Timberwolves walk in there and beat them for a third straight loss. Can't even count on the Clippers to win when we need them to. They can always lose when we need them to, yo. You can certainly count on that. Clowns. But anyway, it is what it is, man. This has been a very interesting Laker week, man. A very interesting Laker week with some super highs and some super lows, and this game was a low. It was a low. Because at the end of the day, we know we weren't necessarily supposed to beat this team without Bron and D'Angelo Russell. But when you see how the game is played out, and you understand that you could have won that game in a million different ways, even with the turnovers, it's like, all right. If we happen to not make the playoffs, this will be another game that stands out. That stupid Memphis game where Darvin just simply did not respect size even after making the trade to get so much of it. So, I don't know, man. Y'all can keep this coach. Obviously, we don't want to fire a rookie coach. We say that every game. But I really don't know how we go into next season with a whole lot of confidence, man. It's not like I'm looking forward to year 2 at this point. I ain't. Not from some of the type of mistakes that I've seen. It's just like, oh, man, Darvin, bro, you definitely did not want to take on some of these unconventional things. You kind of just want to make life simple for yourself, especially when so much is on the line. It's such a big organization, all this other stuff that comes with it. The last thing you want to do is just kind of like, ballsy things. You know what I mean? It's like, Let's go with a bunch of point guards. Yeah, and that's ballsy. Let's bring Russell off the bench. It makes sense, but God, did it work? As it pertains to the record, nah, we were losing, man. It's like stuff like that. It's like, I don't know, brother. I don't know. I don't know. I can't see. If I own the Lakers, I don't think I would. I don't think he would have made it through this season. I don't know if I have the patience that Jeannie has shown. For any of the coaches that she's hired, I just don't have a long threshold for certain types of basketball mistakes. So I get to thinking I need to fire people quicker than maybe they need to be fired. But in this case, this is just disappointing, man. That's all I can say. This is just disappointing. I just didn't think Darvin would have any of these issues when I was lobbying for him to become the Laker coach. I never dreamed this would be how it would go. Not even slightly. This blindsided me, basically, as a fan of the team who, I just listened to everybody talk about how great Darvin was as an assistant coach, and his reputation was impeccable. And I'll get him here, and he does all this stuff with the roster, and I'm just like, man, what in the world? What happened today? Did somebody lie to us? What happened? How did we end up with this nonsense? It seemed like he's setting up the defense to let other team superstars be great. It's like, what? What am I looking at? That's what it comes down to. So that's pretty much what it is, man. I'll stop rambling for now. I appreciate everybody for allowing me to do so. It's just one of those venting sessions as a Laker fan where you're not really ranting. You're not really chatting. You're just sitting here like, how did we even get here? You know what I mean? Like, seriously. And LeBron's foot. I talked about this team for 42 minutes and didn't even mention the foot, because at the end of the day, this just kind of goes without saying, at 38 years of age, you're going to have those issues. At 38, as much basketball as he's played, you almost got to plan for this. I'm just happy that we got the 3-week news. 2 weeks is what they're saying, and they'll reevaluate. And so I'm expecting they'll reevaluate, and then there'll be some time if everything goes well. 3 weeks. So that's what I think. But at the end of the day, I don't know. We'll just have to see how it responds to the rest and what have you. So LeBron's a very good healer from what I've seen over the years. He heals pretty well, but you just have to wonder what type of shape he'll be coming back in 3 weeks. Without being able to run, without even being able to jump, and all those good things. What Bron will be getting back. And that's going to be an entirely different conversation if we're lucky enough to even have Bron back. So, or let's just cross that path when we get there. And prayers up for the betterment of his health. That's pretty much where I guess I'll leave the video, man. Video 44. I thank you all for watching.